Sure.
Where does this come from? What are you eating?
I was eating those, the pecans.
You just come here and eat my food?
Hey, they were there.
You didn't ask. I know for a fact you didn't ask me. And I know for a fact Anthony wasn't downstairs. Are you just eating our shit?
Maybe.
That's wild. Dude just comes to my house and starts eating.
Hey, I walked in and he opened the door.
If I wasn't helping you bulk, I'd be upset.
In only boxers. He was only wearing boxers. He opens the door and then he opens it. He's like, all right, here. And then he closed the door and went back upstairs and then took a nap. And he left me downstairs for like 20 minutes. So I had to find food. I was.
Huh?
Welcome to
Brutal.
the MMA podcast.
How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
You are not doing that well.
No, I'm not.
You just lied to my face.
Hey, okay.
All I
had a good weekend.
All you were doing in there is complaining. You were like,
all I was doing in there
from my real
is
estate
I was
job.
stealing his pecans. All right.
Yeah, you come into my house, you eat my food, and you complain.
Yeah.
All women do is eat hot chip, twerk, and lie.
All right, suck my ass. Okay, I was hungry. I got off of work and I came straight here. And this motherfucker opens the door. And what is he wearing? Boxers.
Not boxers. Don't propaganda me. I'm wearing briefs. Boxer briefs.
Boxer briefs.
No, it's an important distinction. Because only
I wear boxer briefs too, and I call them boxers because
I haven't met a person that wears
only
boxers. I haven't met a person that wears boxers that isn't an asshole.
No, you're
Do you
right.
wear boxers?
No.
Because you're a real man.
I wear boxer briefs.
Exactly.
But I still call them boxers because I don't acknowledge the existence of boxers themselves.
That's good. That's good.
I think that boxers themselves are inferior
they
and
exist.
retarded.
They still exist. But you need to understand they exist to know what's bad from good.
Basically, what he was wearing was some skin-tight shit and only that, so I just saw his bare ass, basically.
And you liked it, didn't you?
Fuck.
Golly. All right, let's jump into some actual MMA garbage. And that's what this card was. It was garbage, in my opinion. I didn't enjoy any fight in particular. I could have picked any fight from UFC 291, and it was more entertaining than any fight from this card. Sandhagen versus Font.
Oh yeah, speaking of, I wasn't here for the last podcast. How was 291? How did you enjoy that?
Awesome. Yeah. It was so sweet. No, I loved it. Caitlin had a really good time. I had a really good time. We really enjoyed watching Dustin Poirier get kicked in the skull.
That was very entertaining.
The entire crowd was screaming, Poirier, Dustin Poirier, Dustin Poirier. They're all chanting for him. Louisiana strong, right? And he gets out there. They have a super competitive first round. And then Justin Gaethje just lays him out with the fucking head kick.
No, that was solid. I was watching that live. Sweet. We freaked the fuck out when it happened.
It was so sweet. I really enjoyed it. The Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz fight was close, but I'm really glad Alex got the win. It sets up a lot more great fights for the future. If Jan wins, it would have kind of steamrolled a lot of stuff. And I'm glad they gave it to Alex because he did more damage, and the criteria is based off of damage. And that's how it should be, and that's how it will stay.
And I'm very glad to see Derek Lewis get his win.
My goodness.
It's
because he wasn't fighting in Houston.
Yeah.
Houston is cursed when it comes to Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad to watch a 400. Imagine, though.
Derek Lewis 400 pounds flying through the air and obliterating you. Yeah.
280-pound man starts sprinting across the octagon, jumps in the air, switch knees Rodrigo de Lima in the face, and knocks all his teeth loose. Marcos made a post on Instagram saying, I'm having trouble eating because all of my front and bottom teeth are loose. And God, did that make me uncomfortable. But it also, it makes you realize how hard it is to be a fighter. But I loved, Derek Lewis. I loved Kevin Holland. I saw an edit today of Kevin Holland and Derek Lewis. I'll send it to you. It was one of the dopest edits ever. I mean,
I think I saw what you're talking about. Yeah.
I might have sent it over to you. You might have seen it in your scrolling. Yeah. But they both landed amazing knees and finished their fight quickly after. They both showed out, and I love them as a brothership. They always hang out together, and they're very hilarious. They're the two funniest guys in the MMA community, in my opinion. So I was really happy to see them do well in person, especially. It's super fun to watch. It was super fun to watch Derek Lewis take his pants off, swing him around in a circle, throw him off into the crowd, and start WWE celebrating on him. Oh, it was so satisfying. I was so happy.
Shout out to my wife. You already know. I come home, bust those guts up.
That is wretched.
That was the best. That was the best post-fight interview I have ever seen in my
Derek
life.
Lewis don't give a fuck.
That was hilarious.
Derek Lewis don't give a fuck. Seriously, it's awesome though.
That was
I had a really good great time at the event. We went over it all in the last episode, which you guys can check out. And we're gonna go over Font versus Sandhagen. I want to start off by shouting out the fight of the night, which was the only fight. Well, it wasn't fight of the night officially yet. I don't know if they're going to announce it.
Right?
They haven't announced it yet. I don't know if they will announce it. But it was very much easily Quarantillo versus Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson really showed a lot of heart in this fight. There's a lot of times where he got hit in the body super hard with Quarantillo, and he just tanked it. He tanked it, kept moving on, but it obviously was affecting him. He was just trying to tough through it, but he looked really worse for wear in that second and third round.
Yeah, no, I'll agree. He was doing very well that whole time, and then, but I mean, I think he was doing well the whole time. It was just that second, third round kind of. He started like it wasn't that he got gassed out. It was that he got hit in the body, and then what was fucking name
Damon Jackson?
Yeah,
Quarantillo?
Jackson. Oh.
Billy Quarantillo was the guy who won.
That's
the
what his
second and
face.
third. Okay.
My brain's not working today.
Does it ever?
Quarantillo just
day.
capitalized on the body shots and kept going, and yeah,
in the
you
clinch,
could tell.
Actually, I think his clinch striking really made a difference because in the clinch, Damon Jackson would throw a knee, throw a little strike there, a little something there, but Quarantillo was digging the body with those right hooks and digging the body with those knees. I mean, everything
Jackson
he landed,
was kind of folding from it. You know?
everything he landed was with intention.
Mm-hmm.
And Damon Jackson's takedowns really well. He landed a takedown every single round, actually.
His takedowns were phenomenal. I saw some crazy takedowns. One of them, he
Great
basically grabbed the bottom of the bottom half of the guy and then just hit him in the neck, just with his arm. It wasn't even his fist. He hit him with the arm, and then that just clotheslined him and right over.
Smacked him onto his back.
Yeah, and he immediately capitalized on it, and he got on the ground.
And Billy Q was really aggressive with his offensive submissions, and I thought that was really good from his back. He had a gogo plata and an omoplata, almost got both of them pretty close. I mean, Damon Jackson knows how to defend a submission. He's obviously very good on the ground, so he defended it off well. And that was kind of it from there. I mean, there was a few other entertaining bouts from there. We had Diego Lopez with the submission. That was in the main card. I saw Damon Lopez versus Movsar Evlaev where he got close to submitting Movsar a few times. God bless you. And
shit, thanks. Holy
that one really woke you up, didn't it?
Oh.
And Lopez, first minute of the fight, pulls guard, sinks in the triangle. He's very slowly, methodically got sunk in. He just got his two legs up like this and slowly hatched it down to where he was in the crux of his own knee. And from there, it was all over. I mean, it was only a matter of time. He grabbed the arm bar, extended the arm, and I don't know if Gavin Tucker verbally tapped, and that's why the ref stopped it, or if Lopez just stopped on his own, the ref decided it was enough. But all three of them were in agreement that the fight was over.
I watched it. I was confused. I was I knew it was deserved. He should have tapped, but I didn't see a tap. And I think he said earlier, it just looked like Lopez went, "Yeah, you're done," and just got up. And I was like,
and the ref agreed, and Tucker seemed to agree too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's a little bit weird, but it was gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
So it was just a matter of time, and really great fight. But I mean, back to the prelims, Jeremiah Wells versus Carlson Harris made me real upset because Jeremiah Wells is he's in the top 3 for most explosive athletes in the UFC. He started MMA really late, I think 30s or late 20s, really late.
Really?
And he's 34 now, 35, turning on 35, or 35, turning on to 36. And I've seen him starch just about everyone or wrestle fuck just about everyone. He's super physically dominant. And he has a good gas tank too. But in the third round, he got a little bit sloppy, got caught in a darce, and didn't defend it correctly, didn't have the fight IQ to defend it, and unfortunately got choked unconscious. It was really slow, but the darce got choked in. And
yeah, it was a pretty quick choke. He went out pretty quickly, and he was fully
when
out.
it fully extended it, where he got the elbow over, it was real fast. It was about 5 seconds, and he was
sleeping.
unconscious.
It wasn't like he was sitting there kind of twitching or look he was unconscious. No, he was
He was
like
unconscious for like 5 seconds, and then his legs started kicking after. Like after the ref, long after the ref stopped it, you could see his legs kicking.
Yeah, he was kicking, he was twitching, but he was like,
he didn't know where he was.
You don't see a fighter get like knocked out or get submitted often, where they like pass out or they go unconscious, and they genuinely are just like asleep, because he was just like, as soon as it went off and he got off of him, he was just sitting there.
Yeah,
like,
no, eyes closed
asleep.
and everything.
Yeah, eyes closed.
He was just taking a nap. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of entertaining fights in this card. It was really upsetting watching Kennedy and Njoku get. He got rocked on the feet. You could tell he got rocked. He got dropped, but he looked like he was all still there. Was intelligently defending strikes. That's the definition of what you're not supposed to call a fight when you're intelligently defending strikes. He's moving his position upwards. So not only was he defending strikes here, he was getting hit with hammer fists only on his guard. They weren't hitting the head. He starts to sit up, and then the ref stops it. And I understand as a referee, you need to protect the fighter. He wasn't protecting the fighter, in my opinion. I think Kennedy has a lot more in him. People call him the Terminator 800. Because he genuinely just walks through damage and then destroys you in the second and third. That's what he's good at. He's to warm up and gets better as the fight goes on. So it's really upsetting to see that fight get called, because you could see Kennedy gets right up. He's cognizant. He looks good. He's not even stepping funny. He's stepping.
He did look annoyed. Yeah, I've seen.
Didn't even have a damage on his face.
I've seen worse stoppages, but I'll agree it was a little early. I think when he was hitting, he at least should have gotten some shots off to the head and actually hit them. But yeah, he was just what it seemed like is he was just using his guard, and he was just getting hit over and over again in the guard, but he wasn't intelligently putting his guard up. He was basically just folding for a second, and then I will agree, as soon as the stop went,
though, there's no way you're gonna be able to put up a better guard.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is it just looked like he balled up and was like.
He didn't ball up though. Balling up is like where you put your knees in, your elbows in, and you're like this.
Well, I just mean his upper body.
He was sitting up. That's why maybe you thought he was balling up. He's sitting up through the strikes, and then went to grab a leg and push off. But the referee was already stepping in.
I'll say that was the one thing, is you saw his legs go up and he started to push, and as he was pushing and the second the ref saw that he was pushing and stuff, the ref stops it, and he gets him off, and he just immediately opens up, and he's fully aware of what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
it's unfortunate stoppage.
He definitely could have. Like, I understand where the ref was coming from to an extent. Like I said, I've seen much worse stoppages.
I think everyone has.
But
very late ones, very early ones.
Yeah. I think it was just unfortunate. Not necessarily like a horrible ref call. It wasn't like just a blatant.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was pretty upset about it, though.
I can
tell you that much. I'm a really big fan of him. He had 3 straight finishes, had a lot of momentum, and this was his first top 15 fight, and that's how it ends.
Yeah.
Not cool. After that, we had the co-main event between Jessica Andrade and Tatiana Suarez. Andrade didn't fight intelligently, got out-grappled, and Tatiana Suarez just basically destroyed her, and that's what she did. Guillotine in. She's done it to a bunch of fighters already, and she protects her undefeated record, 11-0, 5-0 in the UFC. She's a beast on the ground. Her striking's very lackluster, though. I want to see her chop that up better. But then on to the main event, Rob Font, Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen was preparing for Nurmagomedov. And you know how Nurmagomedovs are. Amazing on the ground. He gets Rob Font. He starts wrestling him. I don't know why anyone's surprised, but I understand why people are disappointed at the same time. Because without offensive grappling, you want to see offensive submissions. And Rob Font basically did just enough the whole fight to defend from the submissions to an extent where it didn't really, there was no jiu-jitsu sweeps. There was no
entertaining.
It wasn't super entertaining.
Yeah.
It was really boring. I'm not mad at Corey Sandhagen. And he also tore his tricep in the very first round.
Really?
So he was unable to throw good, precise strikes. He was unable to really throw that hand at all without a lot of pain. That's what he was saying. He could throw elbows. So I understand why he kept it grounded if it was successful and he was injured. So
that is crazy. The tricep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's going to surgery today.
Really?
Yeah, as of this Monday.
Oh, let's hope he gets better. Yeah, I mean,
this will come out on a Friday, but it's the Monday before. But yeah, good showing for Corey Sandhagen. He said specifically in an interview, he said, I want to be able to out-grapple the strikers and out-strike the grapplers. So he's basically just being like, I want to prove I'm the best at both so I can beat both. And I do feel for Corey because this is for sure Aljamain Sterling's last fight at bantamweight as the bantamweight champion. He will either lose and leave the division, or he will win and win and leave the division. That's my opinion. And Corey Sandhagen got choked unconscious by Aljamain Sterling, and he hasn't gotten a title shot since. And Corey's kind of deserved it a few times. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten it. He beat the tar out of TJ Dillashaw, and they gave the decision to TJ Dillashaw, which really made me upset. But that's how the cookie crumbles when the referees are in charge. So, yeah. Moving on from there, we have another UFC fight night. The name escapes me. Who's main eventing? Luque versus Dos Anjos. Makes sense why I didn't remember. I just want to shout out Damon Blackshear. I love Damon Blackshear. In his last fight, got a TKO. Super high-paced wrestler. Really exciting. Very solid base. Reminds me of like a smaller Impa Kasanganay, but with a little bit more athleticism. Really fun to watch.
For a long time?
Damon, I don't really know much of his background. He's a little bit older. I'm pretty sure he's been fighting for a while. I'm sure he has a wrestling background from seeing his wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I want to shout out also for this main card, Tafon Chukwi. Super underrated kickboxer. Didn't show out best in his last two performances. He got knocked out. And I don't think that really showcases his real talent. He came from the Dana White's Contender Series. He's super explosive. So you'll sit there with his high guard, and he's super low to the floor. He's a middleweight, jacked to the gills. And he just likes to sit there and wait and waits for an opportunity. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Combos. And when he lands those combos, super precise, super well done, and he knocks people out. He hasn't gotten the finish in the last few. He dominated his last fight but the fight before his last fight against Azamat, who's an undefeated fighter. And in the very last round got knocked out.
That's always unfortunate to see. I hate when
it always hurts my heart to watch my favorite fighters, just like Jeremiah Wells, do really well and then make some sort of tactical mistake, just resulting in the end of the fight. And I mean, it shows you need to, keep yourself protected at all times. And we're gonna talk about the top 3 of this. It's a very top-heavy event. I'd say there's some stuff to look out for in the prelims, but the main card's really where this event's at. And we're going to start with Khalil Roundtree and Chris Daukaus. Chris Daukaus, retired police officer, moving down from light heavyweight. He was apparently going to miss light heavyweight and got sick or something. So this fight's been postponed from a month ago. And Khalil Roundtree is like the most violent fighter I've ever watched. It's very funny because he's a very creative, emotionally intelligent man. Sean Strickland hates him. They have beef. In my opinion, Khalil would murder him just because Khalil weighs a lot more. But Khalil's really fun to watch in the octagon. He destroys knees, destroys bodies. He just hits with like disgusting intention. And Chris Daukaus doesn't. Chris Daukaus is fast and technical, but the guys he's fought that are really violent have knocked him unconscious, and that's twice in a row now. So give me Khalil Roundtree by butchering.
I think you're just going to immediately knock him out, or is it going to take a little bit?
Khalil likes to start a little slow. It's usually second round where he just puts the pace on. That's where he destroyed Carl Roberson. That's where he knocked down Eric Anders 4 times in a single round. I mean, he knows when to put the pace on. It's usually the second. He figures out what you're going to do in the first and then just gets extremely violent.
Sounds pretty fun to watch. I'm kind of excited.
Ever since Khalil Roundtree started going to Thailand, that's what we started seeing.
Whoa there.
No, I think he was just strictly fighting, to be honest with you. To be completely honest with you. Fucking and fighting maybe, but I mean that's the
fucking
most.
Who?
Beats me. But it's really entertaining to watch Khalil fight, and I'm excited to see him in there again. He just got put in the UFC game. I know UFC 5 is coming out pretty soon here, but in UFC 4 he's fun to use. I've been using him a little bit.
What's the difference?
I'm not sure yet. It hasn't come out yet.
Oh, okay.
Probably not much. It's probably just like the 2K games where it's just a little adjustment. Hopefully it's like the best UFC was UFC 2 or 3. They actually improved a lot, and it was a really good game. And then 4
was just kind of like a minor like change. Like
no, they kind of revamped the game in a way that was not fun. It's not the combat system isn't fun. The grappling sucks. I hate grappling in this game. It's super stupid. The way you get out of grapples is you like. Press. I think you've played it before.
Yeah,
where you press the back things to get out of chokes, or you spin your wheel in a circle. It's like really awkward, janky controls. I didn't enjoy it. UFC 5 is probably gonna be pretty good, but hopefully they put Khalil in it because Khalil was complaining he wouldn't fight until they put him in the game, and they put him in the game. So I mean, it worked. But yeah. After that, we have Cub Swanson and Hakeem Dawadu. I say right now, I'm really excited for this fight. And neither of these guys have a deep grappling background. So it makes me excited, but also hesitant, because the last main event we just watched, Rob Font versus Sandhagen, both strikers. But Corey destroying the ground. But we've seen Corey do that to Marlon Vera. So the fact that I haven't seen Cub Swanson do that, does that give me confidence? This is going to be just a striking masterclass from either guy. Hakeem's a little bit faster, a little bit sweeter. Cub Swanson has crazy combos, crazy techniques. He's from San Diego. I'll definitely be rooting for Cub, but I'll also be rooting for Hakeem. I've been a fan of Hakeem since he got into the UFC. Just crazy combos, really fast.
I mean, yeah, if they're technical.
Not very active though. He fights so little. Hakeem fights so little. I don't know if it's injuries. I don't know exactly what, but he does not fight often at all. He used to fight a lot, and then he stopped fighting. I don't know why. Could have just lost motivation. I'm not sure. But then on to the main event, the Silent Assassin, Vicente Luque versus Yamama. No. I always say that when I forget, because it's RDA. It's Rafael dos Anjos, the man with the most octagon time in the UFC.
Yeah, bro was 32-14.
Yeah, really extensive record. He's been in the UFC forever. I think 30 of those are in the UFC. Because it's 8 hours of octagon time. That's a full shift. That's a full shift. Imagine a full shift of being in an octagon with another man trying to kill you. That's wild. That's crazy. RDA's done everything. RDA's old. I'm going to get to the point. RDA's old. RDA's fun to watch. He's very durable, but he's old. And Vicente Luque kills old people for fun. And I think he's going to sleep RDA. I don't know how they're even odds. I've been seeing all over the place on betting sites and etc. that Vicente Luque is in even odds with RDA.
Really?
Vicente Luque is a monster. He was on a 4-fight win streak before his last 2. And, of course, he got a decision by Bilal, who doesn't...
Bilal, remember the decision, Muhammad.
Okay. Remember the decision is funny and catchy, but you know what's better?
How?
Bilal, melatonin... Muhammad. I heard someone say Bilal, melatonin, Muhammad, and it gave me so much joy.
That's pretty funny.
I even posted my story. I added them. I was like, I'm so proud of this man. My favorite fighter, Bilal, melatonin, Muhammad. I was really happy about that because he puts you to sleep. He doesn't put his enemies to sleep. He puts the fans to sleep. And Vicente Luque before losing to Bilal and then getting knocked out by a monster in Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal has destroyed everyone under the sun except for Kevin Holland and Shavkat Rakhmonov. Remember the Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal fight? That was the one in Mike's Barbecue. Shavkat choked him standing up.
I think
against the cage. Mm-hmm. Yeah, after they were just bodying each other for 3 straight rounds. Jeff Neal just beat Vicente Luque, knocked him out. But Vicente Luque is still a savage, still really good, still really solid, great striking, amazing jiu-jitsu. I think Vicente Luque probably puts a Bravo choke or a Darce on him, finishes RDA in the second round, maybe after he drops him or something. Because Vicente Luque has really good striking too. Just very basic striking. Can't put his hands up very well. But yeah, I'm excited for this event. It's very top-heavy. But you know how with top-heavy events, sometimes the prelims are really good too. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully a better event than last week's. Because I really didn't enjoy it. What are you smiling at?
I just saw a fucking gremlin peek out from the fucking background.
Is that Nick
with the fucking In-N-Out cup, and he just goes, dude, bro has
goes in a frame, goes.
Just goes out immediately.
Dude, if I could count, I'm going to start taking pictures and see how many I can get of Nick's In-N-Out trash just sitting on the counter.
Yeah.
Just collecting these flies. Bro, I wish I was like Mr. Miyagi and be able to take a pair of chopsticks and go, and then
Almost
nice one.
destroy the fucking microphone.
Bro,
Let's
if
go.
you're an MMA fighter, hit the mic like that, you get knocked out right there. Boom.
Your mom's a hoe.
I think it's time to end this podcast before I fall asleep standing up.
Yeah.
I'm standing up, by the way. I'm not sitting down.
Totally standing it. You don't see any of the chair or anything.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have a good day, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Adios.